And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming up back at you here for the Lakers Fast Break. Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. Had a good chance to talk to TJ Johnson as we went a little bit on The White Lotus and why it's such a big hit on Max. I'm going to also try and get to the pit on next week's Pop Culture Cosmos if I can, or as soon as I can anyways, because I know that Max is suddenly on a roll. Warner Brothers Discovery started out the year slow, had some things they possibly would like to forget, but they've been on a roll lately, and we'll go ahead and talk about it up on Monday, and we talked about it on Touch as far as a little bit on Friday's show. Plus, TJ had some words to say about the Nintendo Switch 2. He did go off on a rant, which you should be able to hear. And also as well, Homer Yoffs is back as we cover the rest of the episodes of Season 2 of Severance. That's available right now wherever you get your audio podcast on the Pop Culture Cosmos channel. Go ahead and check it out as we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture. Also, as well, Magic Man is here. He's a great part of what we do on playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. I was helping Kenny Kim, his first time initiated into the all goodness of playback. Was lucky enough to even get him a VIP. So if you want to go ahead and check out what we do, I can't guarantee VIPs, but what I can tell you is you will have a good time listening to me and the guys on playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break or our simulcast on Facebook and YouTube as well. Also want to make sure everybody knows that John Costa is not here tonight, but go ahead and follow him at Clutch Talk and Lakers Corner. He was at the Sacramento game, which Sacramento, at the buzzer, didn't get it done as they lose by 1 to the Clippers, and we'll talk about how that affects the Western Conference standings here in just a minute. Go ahead and check him out at Clutch Talk and Lakers Corner. Big shout out also as well to Zachary Roblito and the Zachary Roblito channel as well. Our good friends, Empire Jeff TV, covering the Lakers and Dodgers. Everybody's happy because the Dodgers just won 3-0 as well. Of course, also as well, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Yo! Also as well, of course, our good friends, Legend 350, Stone Hansen, Albert Esmond. Albert reached out to me today. He said, Gerald, it's been too long. I've been so worked up by trying to go through all the things I do for the World Baseball Network. I've been just so knee deep in baseball. I haven't had a chance to go ahead and stop on by the channel. So I'm looking forward to seeing if I can go ahead and
subscriber.
Thank you, Kevin, for subscribing. Truly appreciate you doing so. Go ahead and check out Alfred Esmond, his work, Stone Hansen, his work, and also Legend 350 as well. And last but certainly not least, as of now, the Lakerholics are scheduled for a noon tomorrow. You never know with these guys, but the Lakerholics crew at Lakerholics.com, they're stopping by to do their show tomorrow at noon Pacific time on this very channel, Lakers Fast Break. And speaking of Lakers Fast Break, like all these people, do all the things you can, but of course for us, the liking and subscribing needs to happen. Please, 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 please. I can only say please enough, and I will just keep saying more. So if you can, go ahead. It's greatly appreciated. Also as well, if you become a member today, get cool emojis. You get also recognition for me whenever I can. Plus also whenever I get some videos I get to throw your way ahead of time, I try to do that. And also some inside articles I throw every now and then for you guys. But all that for just $2.99 a month. That price ain't going up. That price is not affected by the tariffs. Go ahead and check it out today as a member of right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. And again, like and subscribe. It really helps the channel as we get closer to 2,300 subscribers, and it's greatly appreciated by all of us at the LFB. All right, the Lakers heading into tonight just needed a victory against the Houston Rockets. Houston decided to sit 4 of its 5 starters out for tonight's game, and the only times that we really don't like it is sometimes when it's the easiest game in front of us, because we have a tendency to play with our food, as Magic Man says. But tonight, after going back and forth a little bit in the first half and toying with our food a little bit, they finally created some distance. Luka Magic was on full display once again. Coming up with a very solid game for him, which of course for him was 39 points, 7 assists, 8 rebounds. Coming off of his fantastic 45-point game, he chipped in right again, like I said, with 39. Austin Reeves, very efficient shooting for his 23. LeBron only got 14, but he was after the third quarter, he kind of hurt himself or tweaked something, looked like, and they kept him out for the rest of the game. Rui chipped in with 16. DFS, 6 of 8 on threes. And the Lakers pulled away comfortably in that final quarter, put the scrubs in, and finally clinched the third playoff spot in the Western Conference with a 140-109 victory. They are now 50-31 on the season. And here today to go ahead and discuss today's game. I don't know if those numbers are up to date on ESPN. They don't usually update.
Gerald, I just reloaded the page. They are updated.
Okay, they are updated as of now. Is a good man indeed. He is the Magic Man, the madman from Toronto. He did get out of Toronto traffic to stop on by to watch the game against Houston. And also as well, of course, talk about today's game. It is the Magic Man, Sean Grice. Sean, good to have you here. Mission 24 says some reason why he wants you to say the alphabet backwards. I don't know. For the life of me, I don't know why. We get the most unusual. Well, M24, I love you, man, but we get sometimes the weirdest comments on this show, and I don't know what possessed you guys to do that when you typed it in there, but okay, all right, so be it. But tonight, Magic Man, they didn't play with their food. They got the job done. For once, everything fell right into place. And the Lakers do have third place locked up in the Western Conference and the Pacific Division as well.
Absolutely, Gerald. And to just entertain the audience, ZYXWUVTSRQ. I can do this all day, Gerald. Anyway, you're just asking me to say the alphabet backwards. I don't know why we're doing this,
Do it
but
drunk.
okay.
Yes, you should get blitzed and then try to do it after that. Yeah, see how that
Okay, all
goes.
right. We may work that out in the near future. But yeah, Gerald, I'd love seeing that Y there. Clinch a Pacific Division. You also, because you've beaten all your common opponents there, you win the tiebreaker. So the Lakers win both tiebreakers and clinch the Pacific Division. Great victory. And now the Lakers wait for who the sixth seed is going to be. It is only one of two options at this point, Gerald, as we could see, because as Gerald said it earlier, the Memphis Grizzlies choked away any chance they had at a top six seed tonight by losing in Denver. And so now only Minnesota or Golden State can get that six seed, Gerald.
Yep. So they went from getting a possible top six seed to being stuck now in the play-in. They're play-in bound regardless with Memphis's loss tonight. Memphis, Golden State, and also the Clippers. Actually, I think the Clippers and Nuggets, I think, have secured a top six seed, or at least thereabouts. It's mainly right now come down to Golden State and Minnesota coming down to that final game on Sunday. We'll be watching it. We'll be keeping an eye on it. But interesting. Early thoughts, my friend. I know that the Lakerholics crew are going to be talking about it ad nauseum tomorrow at noon, but any early thoughts on who you're looking to match up against? Who might the better matchup be for us?
Well, given some recency bias, Gerald, I guess we could say that the Lakers have had playoffs or play in success against both teams. They beat Minnesota in a play in game, and they've also beaten the Golden State Warriors in a playoff series. So I think it's at this point it's about who's playing hotter right now. And I mean, Minnesota's been playing really well, but the Warriors have been playing great basketball, Gerald, over the past 3 weeks or so, given a couple hiccups here or there. So I think both matchups present different challenges. I will say this: I think it's more advantageous if the Lakers played the Minnesota Timberwolves than playing the Warriors at this point. Just given the
Mhm.
fact that we've seen them get hot, Gerald, and well, I don't think Brandon Podziemski will ever get that hot from deep again. It remains a possibility because he still plays on the Warriors, and if the Warriors play the Lakers in the playoffs, that means Pods gets to play the exact same roster he played against when he made those shots. So I would, as a Laker fan, I would rather see Minnesota by a hair, but I think I would favor the Lakers over both of those teams right now.
Once again, it is the Lakers with the easy 140-109 victory. The Lakers won once again 50-31 on the season. I'm going to bring up some comments Jovan Buha made after the game here in a second that give everyone a better idea as far as what's going on with the Lakers standings on it. I also to keep that ESPN standings there up there as far as in the queue just in case we need it, Magic Man. But let me ask you this again. It's always good to see when another team puts out its starters, 4 of 5 starters. The Lakers again in that second half, they focused in on what they needed to get done. Luca with the big game again. Thank you so much, M24. Truly appreciate the kind and very great absolute. Thank you so much for the super chat. I said thanks, Sean. Needed that. It was a scene from Reno 911. There you go.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
actually, now that he struck my memory, it is a scene from Reno 911, which is one of the funniest comedies that you will ever see in your life.
Absolutely.
Was it filmed
Uh,
on location in
Comedy
Reno,
Central
Gerald?
Golden, I believe it was certain
Wow.
parts of it. I don't think all of it was, but I do believe that there are parts of it was. Let me just go ahead and talk to you about what Jovan Buha reported on Twitter. Assuming Denver beats Houston and Minnesota beats the Lakers will face Golden State or Minnesota round one. The winner of the Los Angeles Clippers Golden State Warriors game will determine the seeding. If the Clippers win, it's Minnesota. If it's Golden State wins, it's pretty effective calling it out on what the Lakers may do. But again, it's all supposed to win regardless of who they're playing against Magic. So please know your thoughts. Uh, what are you looking at more as far as being a better matchup for the Lakers?
I would say, Gerald, I think it boils down to, can you help off Anthony Edwards when he's driving and penetrating enough where nobody else on that team gets hot? Because over the past couple weeks, he has taken more of an onus on facilitating the offense, Gerald, rather than one Mike Conley. So the Lakers need to play great team defense against two great guards. They need to play great team defense against Anthony Edwards, or they need to play it against Steph. Now that's same animal, different beast. One's a shooter, one's a scorer. One's a scorer that could shoot. The other is a shooter that could score. They have different blends of versatility to their game. I would say it'd be more difficult if Anthony Edwards started rolling to contain him than it would be with Curry, because I think that the Warriors live and die by the 3-point shot, and I would favor the Lakers in a 7-game series, especially with Luka Doncic and LeBron at the helm.
Shut up, Joe. He's in the chat as always. Doesn't have the guts to come here on the show like always, but I have a
No
feeling he'll be here
balls.
once.
No
Yeah,
balls.
once you start calling him out, once you start calling him out for the individual that he is, he'll come on here because he doesn't like it when he gets teased a little bit. So I'm sure he'll be here soon enough. But once again, it is the Lakers winning 140-109. Magic Man, again, for me, I think this team matches up better with.
Joe has
I'd say
jellyfish balls.
I'd say Minnesota is probably the little bit easier matchup right now. Minnesota has just never regained that mojo on the defensive end that they had last year. Last year, they put on a clinic in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs and were absolutely incredible in those first two, very dominating in those first 2 rounds over both Phoenix and Denver. And they just do not look like the same team. They've never been able to play consistently like that ever since. I didn't think that the Towns trade would cause all this, Magic Man, because certainly, as you and I know, that Towns, I mean, Towns, for as great an offensive player he is one of the worst rim protectors in the NBA. It's just, it's right there in the stats. But it's just strange how they get rid of this awful defensive player, but their defense with who they brought in just certainly has just never found its mojo once again.
Not at all, Gerald. And quite frankly, even though it is kind of a formidable front court, if you put any one of those guys out there, Julius Randle, Nas Reed, or Rudy, Luka's going to pick him apart with the pick and roll, Gerald. We saw what he did against Hartenstein. So he can pull your best defensive big out and make him either neutralize him or make him irrelevant. And I think Minnesota's just going to have a harder time defending that, Gerald.
Oh, hold on, Inspector. Inspector, yeah, you can say the stats are. You can always read into the stats all you want. They last year they put on a clinic in the first 2 rounds, and you know that, and I know that. They have not done anything like that at all consistently this year. I understand they could theoretically do that because of the size that they have with Gobert, with Nas Reed, and with Edwards. That's something that they have to do, but they have not been consistent all year long, and you know that, and I know that as well. So you can give me the number 3 in defense all you want. They last year put on a clinic in those first 2 rounds, absolutely just killed it on the defensive end, especially on the perimeter defense. If you actually know the game like I do, so if that's the case and you understood the game like I do, you realize that they are not quite there yet, what they once were last year. But that's not to go ahead and say that they can't get there once again, Magic Man. I'm not going to overlook the Minnesota Timberwolves if we play them because they can play that way in a 7-game series if Anthony Edwards has everything all together, if he decides to focus in and play at the level that many expect him to do so, if Nas Reed still hits from the outside like people know he can. Gobert, the thing is, though, when they go small, will Gobert be able to be played off the floor, which is always a possibility in the playoffs that we saw? Again, they had enough coverage last year with Nickeil Alexander-Walker and others playing at a really high level on the defensive end for those first 2 rounds. It went off the rails for them once they met up with Dallas, but still, again, they are not the team that they were last year, but I'm certainly not going to overlook them if they played them in the playoffs.
No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't overlook them, Gerald. But we should also keep in mind this: that two big reasons why Minnesota was able to.
Oh, that's always a question, Inspector, because he's asking if
Me.
Hayes, Vando, and Goodwin would get played off the. That's always a good question because Vando has
Well,
been played
we
off.
do, yeah, and we don't know how much Goodwin's going to play in the playoffs exactly. We have no idea. So,
But Vando plays averages 15
but
minutes a game. So if he
what?
gets played off the floor, Magic Man, that's not as crucial as, let's say, Gobert getting played off the floor.
Yeah, and what Inspector is overlooking, I'm not sure why, is the fact that the two big reasons why Minnesota was able to go as deep as they did, Gerald, was one, they could crash the offensive glass. They haven't crashed the offensive glass this year the way they crashed it last year. They're a mid team as far as offensive rebounding is concerned. Secondarily, their defense was predicated on a lot of ball pressure and creating turnovers, Gerald, and they don't create a lot of turnovers as they did last year, which means there's less opportunities in transition for guys like Nickeil Alexander-Walker or Anthony Edwards or McDaniels or
And
who.
Walker has played well.
Well, yeah,
Alexander Walker has played well. Give him a lot
yes,
of credit. And
yes,
defense
yes.
ends, though, man, if DiVincenzo turns it up in the playoffs like he did for the Knicks, that's always something that could go ahead and we saw there. DiVincenzo took it to another level for the Knicks and almost carried them. He almost carried that team
But
as
what?
far as
But
they could go.
right, right. And what happened when they ran into Minnesota, Inspector? But Dallas, it was Luca.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
So again,
I think, and on the opposite side of the coin, there, Gerald, is the Golden State Warriors. Now, does Golden State have anybody on their team that you would really even kind of worry about Luca being able to handle, Gerald? I mean, all due respect to Draymond Green, all due respect to Jonathan
well, the thing
Kuminga.
is, how effective when they play Golden State? We'll switch over to Golden State right now. How effective will Golden State be able to be if they're running off screens? Will they be able to isolate Luca defensively on Curry? Because if that's the case, Curry's going to get off a lot of threes. I'm not going to be dishonest with you guys. We all know about Luca's defense and how much when it comes to what he applies himself to on the defensive end. So we'll see. Again, when it comes to Golden State, if they are able to isolate that, that could be an issue for the Lakers. But conversely, if the Lakers isolate Luca on Curry, that could be a lot of points for Luca as well, Magic Man.
It could be Drew. It could very well be. Oftentimes, a playoff series can be determined by just a one-on-one matchup. I mean, the one I usually always go back to is LaMarcus Aldridge and Dwight Howard when the Blazers played the Rockets. Everybody was picking the Rockets. Nobody had picked the Blazers, but the matchup favored the Blazers because LaMarcus Aldridge had a complete offensive game, and he schooled Dwight Howard. And I think in this situation, are you really going to doubt Luca? I mean, I don't doubt Steph, but are people seriously doubting Luca? Because if that's the case, I mean, let's call a spade a spade. Why don't we call it confirmation bias? You just don't like the way Luca plays the game, or you don't like his extracurricular stuff, as opposed to Steph, who's this supposedly clean cut. He has a phallic issue with that mouth guard, but I won't go there. The fact of the matter is, it goes both ways, and I think if you're going to attack Luca, I'm going to attack Curry.
But the only thing is, Inspector, I'll say this, and then I'll hand it over to Joe here in a second. You're saying Hayes, Vando, and Goodwin are all question marks. Yeah, Vando's been played off the floor in a series before. We've talked about that many a time. But those guys are all that you mentioned are 15 minutes or under in a playoff series, in our playoff game, excuse me. The one I would worry about most is how would Austin Reeves or Luka Doncic on the defensive end, will they be singled out? Will they be targeted? Will they be hunted? And will they be successful at it, whoever the opponent is? That's something I think that you need to consider in there as well. But Hayes, Vando, Goodwin, if those guys can't make it and get played off the floor, that's not a huge deal for the Lakers. That's not a deal breaker by any stretch, because those guys are fringe players and fringe contributors for the Lakers at best. When you've got DFS, because they like that small ball, Magic Man. Before I get it to Joe, they like that small ball lineup with DFS, Rui, and then of course the big three.
Yes, they do, Joe. They do.
Yeah, and I know some people don't like the small ball, but be prepared. You're going to see a ton of it in the playoffs for the Lakers. And here today also as well, a good man indeed. I know we go back and forth, Ruby, but you know what? This channel is always better when he's on it. And of course, don't forget right after, I guess he said he's going to go try and do the Joe Soro experiment, hopefully after the show here today. It is, of course, Joe Soro. Joe, good to have you here, my friend. A very convincing victory. That second half, the Lakers just finally said, you know what, we're going to turn on that switch and go from there. Leading us into most likely two possibilities, either Minnesota or Golden State. And just initially, and I know you're going to put some more thought into it, especially as we get into Sunday and we find out actually who we play. Who are you leaning towards more? Just initial reaction. Who are you leaning towards more as far as a preference for the Lakers playing?
Golden State.
First round. Golden State?
Yes.
Okay.
Golden
Can you
State
tell us why?
Yes, Golden State, because I'd rather not travel to Minnesota in case the series goes 6.
Understandable. You talked about that with the Clippers.
If Anthony Edwards decides to play the way he's capable of in this series, he can be a problem. DiVincenzo could be that guy that doesn't miss. Could happen.
if he goes Knicks crazy like he did in the playoffs last season.
Naz Reid could do that as well. And I'd rather it be local.
Okay.
Lakers win either series in my view, as long as there isn't a major injury. But I'd rather play Golden State. Plus, I think it'd be good for the league to see another LeBron Steph series, and it'd be nice to have LeBron win another series against Steph.
Could be the last one.
We said that 2 years ago. It's no. I'm not going to say that again.
Well, we're getting pretty close. We're getting pretty close here.
I'd say there might be another chance next year, especially if Golden State improves.
We'll see.
But wear and tear right now is my concern. I don't see any team in the NBA except maybe the Celtics, if they're hitting all their shots, being a problem. They're just going to have to work probably really, really hard on a couple teams, but lessening the extracurricular stuff off the court is stuck in my mind. I just want them to not have to exert more energy by moving around more than they have to. Looking at the standings, it's a lock that the Clippers are going to have the 5th, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lock, right? They can just get better they can just jump to the 4 in case Denver loses.
Houston's resting all their starters. Denver's going to win that game.
Okay, so Denver is likely going to win, which means the Clippers have the 5th. Okay, so what can happen there? This is a very interesting scenario that could play out. Let's say some of you Clipper watchers, let's say what you say is correct. Let's say Kawhi is sort of back, and if he doesn't get injured, okay, they beat Denver. Okay, I don't think that would be a surprise, especially with the way Denver is kind of faltering right now. And we're in agreement that Oklahoma City is likely going to win their series against whomever is sitting at 8. Now you have the Clippers playing Oklahoma City. Could be an interesting setup. Let's say the Lakers beat whomever. Who are they going to play in the second round? I'm sticking with the Rockets just to play it safe for discussion purposes. So the Lakers play either Minnesota or Golden State, and then they play the Rockets in the second round. And then the intriguing matchup would likely be the Clippers versus Oklahoma City. What if they get upset? That becomes an even more interesting path. Imagine the Clippers and the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. Finally, after 5 seasons, we finally get what we were waiting for. Then I don't think it's going to play out like that, though. And yeah,
they do have playoff history that does not bode well.
Andy, you can stick your karma up your ass. I never said you're fat. I just said I didn't want to see your fucking stomach. So stick your karma up your ass. I don't believe in karma. I'm karma. I'm the one that brings karma right here. So go to bed. Say your prayers and go to bed. Shut the fuck up. I'm sick and tired of hearing from you. Fuck off. Seriously, fuck off. Grow up, too, while you're at it.
Seriously, Danny.
All right. Joe is writing WWE scripts for the NBA, according to James Hex. He also indicated
you could probably write better scripts.
Joe is smoking that Lakers hopium if he thinks the Celtics are the only problem for an old, slow, small team.
Who said that?
So we're old, slow. We're old and slow.
James, incorrect Hex.
We're old and slow.
So James doesn't seem to read very well.
No.
Let's hold on a second. Let's really educate this guy. Maybe he's not educated. Sometimes that happens. Maybe he's homeschooled or some shit. Okay. Luka Doncic is 26. Dorian Finney-Smith is 31. Jordan Goodwin is 26. Rui's 27. Jackson Hayes is 24. Let's see here. I'm only picking the guys that play regularly, by the way. Austin Reeves is 26. Gabe Vincent
DFS
is 28.
is 31.
Jared Vanderbilt is 26. The only guy that's old on this team is LeBron James. So what the fuck are you talking about? Read. It's fundamental. You keep pulling shit. You keep hexing shit out of your ass. Starting to turn into Jonah Hex. Start calling you Jonah Hex. You know that movie that bombed because you're bombing.
Must you remind me of that? Yeah, it's really.
What is it? What is it exactly that is old on this team other than LeBron James? I'm giving you a minute to respond.
Yeah, he's can't do it. Just can't do it.
This is not your mammy's or your daddy's show. This is not your daddy and your mammy's show. This isn't even your uncle's show or your auntie's show. We respond here. We don't sit here like this. Yeah, the Lakers were really good tonight, and we're looking really forward for the playoffs. We don't talk like that here. We don't. We talk shit. We insult each other. We insult you. You insult us. We laugh. And we talk a little basketball. And sometimes some other things. If you can't handle it, you can go like this. And then the little start button, if you have a PC, you could press that and then log the fuck off.
Lloyd, what are you talking about? He says this should be called the delusional show. LeBron James is faster. Oh, you used incorrect English, by the way. More faster.
Oh, by the way, Gerald.
And Luka Smith and Austin. What does that have to do with anything?
Saying Boston would beat us is not an offense. That's a legitimate argument. I'm talking about someone saying that this team is old when they're not. This team is not old. LeBron is the only old player on this team, and he plays like a 33-year-old.
He said he's old, slow, and unathletic team until he retires.
Okay, hold on, Gerald. Just like Joe's right. Sometimes people just need an education. He's right. I agree with that. So we'll just go right to the horse's mouth here, Gerald. We'll go right to the NBA themselves. And Gerald, I'm going to blow it up, but you just let everybody know who's one of the youngest teams that the NBA is talking about on this list.
Well, Oklahoma City, like you said, you've got the Trailblazers, the Spurs, the Pistons, the Grizzlies. The Lakers have an average age of 25.
Yes, considered one of the youngest teams in the NBA. So, Gerald, why don't you do that little dance again?
Incorrect hex. James and Lloyd are both incorrect hexes. So, yeah, guys, just, man, Lloyd comes up here with dumbass statements and incorrect hex comes with incorrect statements. So I just won, guys. We got the third place to Western Conference. We now can go ahead and take the game off with most of our starters or all of our starters. And you guys should be celebrating. Yet our trolls, who make no sense 100% of the time.
You guys brought straight trash tonight. It was straight trash.
Yeah, and they absolutely are getting dumber and dumber. Absolutely. It's just,
They're masochists. I think they like the negative responses, guys. It's
but
not
they
the Ralphie Joe
don't come with even good responses. They're not even good. They're not even average. They're not even bad. They're below. They're stupid. Absolutely stupid because
just Lloyd and James Hex.
They like that cheese grater, Sean.
Do you like candle wax?
Oh my God. Sharon B says if it's not people trying to turn Kobe fans against LeBron fans, now they're trying to cause division between Luka and LeBron.
Sharon, I'm gonna do because you're a good person. Seriously, you are a good person.
You are, Sharon.
I am gonna make a deal because of Sharon B today. Just right now, I just thought of it the second I saw that. I'm going to read it again. If it's not people trying to turn Kobe fans against LeBron fans, now they're trying to cause division between Luka and LeBron. I'm going to tell you guys this right now, okay? I'm going to be very clear. This era might be Jokic's era. It's not going to argue against that. Possibly a fourth MVP in terms of the individual side. But this is still a LeBron dynasty that's continuing. Okay? And it's his era still in that respect. Kobe had his time. Jordan had his time. It's time to now just LeBron is playing now. Everyone else is gone.
What's different about this is that somebody gets to take the mantle from somebody else that wears a Lakers jersey.
We're arguing
that hasn't happened before.
It's not. Look, it's I said this a little bit before. Like I think it was a couple shows ago. We're sitting here, and a Laker just passed a year ago, the all-time point leader, right? He beat a Laker, and before that, it was a Laker. A Laker, all-time leading scorer, went to an all-time leading scorer who's a Laker, and then an all-time leading scorer again went from a Laker to a Laker. What are we arguing about? Seriously, what are we arguing about? We've had LeBron, we've had Kobe on this team, we've had Magic, we'd have Kareem, we've had Wilt, we've had Shaq. Shaq has been so disrespected the last the last 3 months, calling him a top 5 pick. That's what happens, Sean. That's why I get irritated by those awards. It's not because I'm going to benefit anything out of it. Imagine that argument if Shaq gets 01 and 02, which he should have. That was the baddest mofo on the planet between 2000 and 2003. The prime squared years of Shaq. 2000 and 2003 was like Ali in the late 60s, early 70s prime, before he had to do that, whatever the hell was going on, the suspension for the military thing. That was his prime squared, and he should have won 3 MVPs. If they had given him those damn MVPs, this wouldn't even be an argument. So it's important to understand now. You got to give respect, and you also, when someone says something, they need to be rewarded when it's really, really, really good. Sharon B. just wrote something, and the reaction was right away. Respect, and that is the response, and that is the reward she gets and everyone else gets for saying that. I am not going to be arguing anymore about this. This is LeBron's time now. I'm focusing on that, and I'm going to support him.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is Magic Man Sean Grice, Joe Soro, myself, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching this, and truly appreciate your thoughts on that. I think Magic Man is pointing Joe in the direction of inspectors, and my gosh, it's just, man.
Inspector
Gadget.
Ooh, ooh.
So after Joe says what he says, what Inspector takes from that is, so Shaq is better than LeBron. Got it.
Oh, hold on.
He was in 2000 to 2002.
Joe, LeBron wasn't he? You son of a bitch.
I'll say this.
LeBron was 15 years old, you son of a bitch.
Hey, you asked. He asked.
James can't seem to finish a comment without putting his stupid 3 laughing emojis, because I think he's only laughing himself because no one else is finding him funny. But it seems like every time that's all he can do. It just shows, again, that you have no understanding of what is going on. So if you cannot comprehend,
I think he does. He's just fucking with us.
He's not winning.
No, he's not winning, but it's what he's likely doing. Either that or he's really dumb, which it's got to be one or the other.
These people, these trolls, they come on there.
Don't be surprised, Joe. As South Park taught us, 1/4 of people are retarded. So,
well, Martin said we must be masochists in our chat, and I'm like, we're the masochists here. But I will say this in regards to those individuals, those trolls. You guys sit here for hours. You guys watch us for hours, and we call you idiots for hours.
And you come back for more.
Hold on, let me read what James said one more time here. Joe, why do you claim that Lakers need so much rest if it wasn't for the old man on the team needing his naps and oxygen chambers? He makes the Lakers an old, slow team and needs to retire. That's what he got out of that. I can't help you.
Inspector, what do you think he's going to say? He's going to say that the Lakers, Austin Reeves, after the game, is going to say he thinks this team can go ahead and get eliminated in the first round. Of course, he's going to tell you that he thinks this team is going to win a championship.
Why do you think
all will tell you that?
Why do you think the Celtics were so fresh in the finals last year, folks? They didn't play one single team. I'm not degrading the championship. Yeah, it is what it is. They got to play who they play. But the point is, every single East round that they went through, that team had their number one guy out. And then when they got to the finals, they were as fresh as Sean Grice after Irish Spring shower. It's clean, right? And then what happened? What happened last year with Dallas? Luka pulled everything out of his freaking soul to get those guys to the finals, but they ran out of gas. Same thing happened to the Miami Heat the year before. It matters. Rest matters. This game changed. It changed. There's no more this, play 3 quarters on a really good team and then rest all the fourth quarter. That's a very rare thing. That doesn't happen anymore. Look how the freaking look at the third tier unit. Look what they did in Houston. They weren't missing shots today. They wouldn't go away.
So, Magic Man, I'm going to ask this. Okay, I see another comment from another troll, Nick T. Sometimes trolls, sometimes not. But one thing has been clear. Nick T has hated the Luka trade from the get-go. He's not shied away from that, and I give him credit for not shying away from that and voicing his opinion. But the guy scores 84 points in 2 games, Magic Man. And he was still in Dallas yesterday because he hosted I guess a youth tournament event or something like that yesterday. So 84 points in 2 games, Magic Man. Basically, he lifted the Lakers by himself in that second half to distance himself from the Houston Rockets and put this game away. Yet the comment that he puts out there is that Luka is slower than LeBron. Shake my head.
Wow.
I don't get it. It doesn't matter how slow he is. Is he scoring the points? Is he getting the Lakers the victory? I don't get it, Magic Man. Why are there still people out there who cannot stand the fact that Luka is on the Lakers? I just don't get it. I don't get it.
Gerald, we're getting into this. Now we're getting into the sub characteristics of what you want your superstar. Oh, well, his foot speed isn't what I would want it to be.
It's got to be more athletic.
So, I mean, just to put this into perspective for that clown. So, how did Manu Ginobili do with change of paces as a guard? You idiot.
Well, Nick T said he was responding back to Hex.
How did James Harden do as a change of pace guard? You idiot. And before it was in vogue, Gerald, you know who else was a change of pace guard? One Nick the Quick Van Exel. He didn't always fly down. He didn't always fly down the court. He was a little bit of a change of pace guard too. And you'd rather have a rocket ship than a Jeep that could get you to the same destination. You're an idiot, Nick. You're an idiot. You don't realize that on a championship team, you just don't need a line of Ferraris and Lamborghinis. You need a Jeep.
Okay, well, Nick is correcting himself. He was saying it towards Lloyd. But when you guys address each other, make sure you at the person that you're talking to. Otherwise, we think it's for us. So, Nick, I'll give you credit for that.
Okay.
On that. But when you're addressing one of our other individuals in the chat, please at them so they know that we're talking to. Otherwise, they're just going to see like us and assume it's for us. But
now, Sharon B, to his credit, one of the analysts on ESPN, Tim Lickle, loved the Luka trade for the Lakers, and he's been on the Laker bandwagon since it happened. Gerald, he's one of the few analysts in the NBA who's just willing to have the guts to just speak his mind. And actually, he thinks nobody wants to play the Lakers right now.
So once again, the Lakers win 140 to 109. Again, they clinch third place in the Western Conference. Joe, you preferred the Warriors, part of it because of travel, part of it because of matchups. I mentioned to Sean, the only thing I would have a concern is, which is some concern and rightly so by our audience, when it concerns the defense of our backcourt in a playoff setting with Austin or Luca, if they get singled out, because it's not just about the matchups, what they start off in the possession. You and I both know it's all about the switching and who they ultimately end up getting targeted on that defensive end. It's about the switching, who gets switched on, who gets around the screens, who gets around the picks, who gets picked off, who they switch to. Ultimately, will the Lakers be able to take advantage on one side if Curry is the guy defending, or will Golden State take advantage of Curry being on or getting a matchup that he feels favorable then in Austin or Luca?
Other than the NBA having a treat in the first round of a LeBron versus Steph series, there's no one on the Golden State Warriors that can break down any individual defender and get to the basket on a regular basis. Minnesota has that guy. His name is Anthony Edwards. I've been down on him for the last couple of years because what the hell's going on here?
Sorry, no, that was me. That was my fault.
The anointment of Anthony Edwards being this next level player is still to be determined. But
very good, Joe. Very good.
I appreciate it. Thank you. That guy can cause problems, and he can cause problems considerably getting to the basket. And Minnesota does have two guys that can get hot from long distance, Naz Reid and DiVincenzo. They have a better chance at matching up with the Lakers better than the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors, in order to beat the Lakers, have to make shots, and they have to make shots from deep. The second they don't make those shots, they're toast. You'll see a couple of blowouts, I bet, in the series against the Golden State Warriors. You'll see a couple blowouts. It's just a matter of, will they be able to do it enough to where they don't take it too long, like they don't go 6 or 7. Can they do it in 5? Can they win comfortably at 6? So they win the first 2 games at home. They win one in Golden State. They come back home and win. Or let's say something happens. Golden State wins both games, go back to LA, and then maybe close it out and go in San Francisco in Game 6. I just think it's a better matchup, not only in terms of the distance, but I think it's a better matchup for the Lakers to take advantage of to get out the gate.
Matt Durant, do you concur with that? That it's probably a better matchup for the Lakers than Minnesota?
About it earlier, Drill. I said I would rather play Minnesota just by a hair. But Joe brought up really good reasons why you might want to have the Warriors up first instead of them. But I will say this: I still think it's same animal, just different beast with the way an Anthony Edwards centric offense runs and the way a Curry offense runs, and quite frankly, Vanderbilt had some success against Curry, Gerald. You can't put Jared Vanderbilt on Anthony Edwards and expect that same kind of success. It's not going to work. Anthony can create space for himself. He can do that either through speed and power going north to south, or he has a pretty damn good handle for a shooting guard, and he can go east to west. He's also capable of getting hot from beyond the arc as well. He hit 3 straight threes on 3 straight possessions last night in Memphis. So here's what I would say. If the Wolves took the Lakers to 6 or 7 games, Gerald, I think it would take Anthony Edwards averaging over 40 points per game to do it.
Okay.
Because I don't think that the Wolves, even though they have very good players, necessarily have the others that can score consistently to maybe offset guys like McDaniels or DiVincenzo or Nickel Alexander Walker, who may not be shooting well. They have good depth when it's working together, but they don't have the kind of depth where they could rely on, I don't know, Gerald Dillingham in the playoffs. Would you put Dillingham out there with Luka Doncic and LeBron James on the floor? I think he would get really embarrassed, Gerald. So I think Finch is limited with what he could throw out there if it's not working with his regular 7 to 8 man rotation. I think Steve Kerr would be
if
willing.
Walker's going to be a key. Walker would be a key in
He's a key.
Yeah, I agree. Joe, let me bring it back to you, my friend. And once again, the Lakers clinched third place in the Western Conference with a 140-109 victory. Inspector did say something that was of interest. What about playoff Jimmy? Now, if you go by the numbers, his numbers have declined in playoff series, but his last series that he was in was the finals with Miami. So your thought, the finals with Denver as a member of the Miami Heat. He didn't exactly play well, which obviously was one of the reasons why Denver dominated that series, but he did play and get around 25 points a game average before that. Your thoughts, is playoff Jimmy still a thing, even at 35 years old?
No.
Okay.
Not against this team. Not against an elite team. I should say elite. I don't think the Lakers are quite elite, but then again,
very good.
Who's really elite right now? Is it the Boston Celtics?
The Boston Celtics are elite.
Okay. So there's one team that's elite. So the Lakers are very good. I watched him play in the last game. He didn't look. I forgot. Again, I had forgotten he was on. It was playing most of the time. Just me. The question will also be: is how are the refs going to manage Spittlemouth? That's going to be an interesting one, considering you had a ref kick Luka out for yelling at a fan. What's going to happen when Spittleface ends up yapping? Are you going to just let him yap and then kick out Luka while he's sitting at the bench? That's going to be an interesting subplot in this whole thing.
Because it's clear, and even Warriors fans admit this, Joe. Thank you, No Joker. Truly appreciate the donation and super chat. Cannot thank you enough for it. Also, as well, Mission 24 earlier as well. But Joe,
I don't do drugs.
When it comes to
I don't do drugs.
When it comes to Draymond Green, when it comes to Draymond Green, Draymond Green is usually, and even Warriors fans will admit this, that he's given a longer line, a longer extension. He's allowed to yell at the refs more than most players. In fact, all players seemingly in the NBA, and not get as many T's because he seemingly does that on every play. And we have in Luka and LeBron two of the also top 10 complainers to the refs in the league as well. So what do you think will happen if they meet in a matchup like that in regards to will the refs play it tight, make a statement early and call text early to get these guys off their back, or will they let them all or just one go off on the refs constantly?
I'm trying to understand how Jaylen Brown owns Luka, and Luka dropped 30 a game last year in the finals. How do you own somebody who's dropping 30 in the finals in a game? You know how many players drop 30 in the finals in the history of the NBA? Like 3 guys. One of them is Jordan. I think the other one might be Wilt. That's it. So how do you own somebody who's dropping 30 on you? Explain that to me. Sorry.
I'm pretty sure Jerry West is close there.
Jerry West is the other one, I think. Yeah, that's right. I got lost.
Your thoughts? Your guys' thoughts on that.
40 in a finals series.
I have a feeling.
Joe, it's Rick Barry, Jordan, West, and then Durant.
Good deal.
Okay, Gerald. If I dare to say this, I think
did we say they were going to beat the Celtics? I'm sorry, Sean. Did we say that in the show? Maybe I'm all jacked up.
No. I say they have a chance.
Keep bringing that up.
I didn't say that.
Why do you keep bringing up the Celtics? I'm talking about the freaking first round. We're talking about the first round. What are you talking about? Old team when they're young And now you're talking about the Celtics. We didn't talk about the Celtics. We're talking about Minnesota or Golden State. Yeah, exactly. That's what I want to hear. Shh. If you're not going to make sense, shut up. This is getting stupid now. A couple times here and there, that's fine. But now it's getting stupid. Joe, he's had, we all saw it, but I feel like, well, okay. Anyways, let me answer the question. What was your...
Basically,
Gerald, I think it's dependent on the staff.
Okay.
I really do. I don't think
we'll set the tone early, Magic
I don't.
Man.
Yeah, I don't think
The refs will set the tone early.
Normally, other officials follow suit. They emulate other officials in a series. I think it's dependent on the crew. Some crews,
And then I also think if the Warriors fall down, though, Magic, if the Warriors fall down to the Lakers 3-1, you could see frustration setting in with guys like Draymond Green and start to go after the refs and also do some dirty plays as well.
Yes, Gerald. And also these referees are also graded. So supposedly the best graded officials are the ones picked for the playoffs. So you would expect a crew to get a feel for a game before they decide how they're going to call it, Gerald. I mean, isn't that what you want a referee crew to do? It's to let them play for a few minutes, feel it out, and then start deciding whether or not you want to call it tight. I just don't like this idea that somehow because Luka likes to express himself vocally to officials, so does Draymond, so does LeBron, that somehow now that a crew has to have some of these preconceived or pre-assumed ideas about how to call. I don't like that, Joe. I think these guys are paid handsomely to be unbiased and let the game play out. And I think it'd be a shame if the NBA decided to go in with any preconceived ideas about how to call a game with superstars.
No Joker said on the super chat, thank you so much for doing it. Appreciate it. They got playoff Jimmy, but we got Sausage Joe. Okay. Div X-Ray, just want to let you know it's most likely going to be either Minnesota or Golden State. Div X-Ray is who.
What does that mean? Sausage Joe. I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
Are you saying I have a big sausage? You'd be right.
But Div X-Ray, it's going to be either Minnesota or Golden State is how it's going to lay itself out. But that's dependent on what happens on Sunday. Joe, getting back to you. And once again, the Lakers do win 140-109 to clinch up third place in the Western Conference. I know that you and I will have to be eating olives at some point in time in the not too distant future.
Probably do it on Sunday.
Yeah, can do it on Sunday.
Get it done. Not? Get it out of the way. Now the regular season will be over.
Yeah, absolutely. Something to look forward to there. Yeah, great. But yes, I will have olives like you will have olives. But be that as the case, how do you perceive this season as far as success ratio to this point? I understand it all depends on what goes in the playoffs, but I think we did release some wins on the table. We could argue about whether or not the Lakers should have had second place in the Western Conference, but we talked about, as you have talked about, the odds for a second or first place team increased substantially over a third place team as far as getting to the NBA title. But your thoughts on the team, the success as a third place? I know they dumped a bunch of ice on JJ, celebrating like they had just won the championship earlier today when they did it. But there's still a lot left of work to be done. But overall, the season has had its ups and downs. But I like where it's headed, Joe. I like where it's headed.
The only player on the team that's needing this more than anyone on the team is LeBron, because his time is coming to an end soon. He's going into this playoffs possibly next year, likely being the last few years of his career, and what a way to go out if he can win one more title. I've come to the realization he's probably gonna get a statue even if he doesn't win another title. But if he wins a second one, it's 100%er at that point. And beyond all that, it's gonna be a GOAT discussion difference if he does. That probably is important to him. That's probably the only thing that's left. He's accomplished everything. What else can he accomplish?
But you can clearly see how much he plays, how much he enjoys playing with Luka, Joe.
It's great. If LeBron can play like this, I hope he can. I really do. I hope he can. Another year, maybe even 2, until Jokic is a free agent in 2027. Hopefully, he'd have to opt out. So I don't know how to react to that yet. It's we've never seen anything like this. Maybe I'm just being cautious that it could switch the other way, where he just can't play anymore. You're on mute, Sean. You're on mute.
I got you.
I didn't
Go
put.
ahead.
Yeah. Nobody wants to be the guy that paid the guy who was over the hill the money that they made, that you were swindling and paying. Nobody wants to be that guy. But this is a completely different scenario here. Joe said if LeBron plays it. Well, if and buts for candy and nuts, Joe. There's no if right now. He is playing the way he's playing.
If LeBron is averaging 10 points a game, the Lakers aren't even close to winning a series, let alone a championship.
Alan YST is asking if LeBron is in the conversation for the GOAT. It's just in the conversation, and I know you and John have had a conversation.
Yeah, he's been in
Why is Curry not in that same conversation? I'll just say it like this, because Curry has excelled in only one area.
Yes, and basketball has a physical component to it. And the 3 players that are mentioned were probably the outside of Wilt Chamberlain, Nate Thurman. Those 3 guys are physical specimens, and that's why they're in the GOAT conversation.
I don't agree with that, because Magic and Bird weren't necessarily great defenders, but they were in the GOAT discussion for a little bit after they finished playing.
They were.
The reason why Steph isn't is this is not a knock on Steph. It's actually a compliment. Steph could not have done what LeBron did in Cleveland. If you switch Steph Curry and LeBron James in 2016, Steph does not win that series. Steph is a team player. Steph shared a lot. Steph cared about winning first above anything. Steph is Derek Jeter. LeBron is Barry Bonds. If I had to put a comparison to something. Derek Jeter won, right, Sean? Derek Jeter won 5 titles. Barry Bonds, unfortunately, due to Dusty Baker's bad call in the 2002 World Series in Game 6, he didn't win any. Should have won it. Would have won World Series MVP. But
I think if he stayed with the Pittsburgh Pirates, he would have won at least one.
I don't know. I don't know. We'll never know, I guess. But no one's ever going to say Derek Jeter's a better baseball player than Barry Bonds. Not even close. But
better leader, yes. Better player, performer, yes.
But and again, this is not being derogatory. This is just real life. There is never, not in his 2 MVP seasons, not in his 2022 championship, there has never been a year since Steph Curry has been in the league in 2009 till now, he has never been a better player than LeBron James. And neither has Kevin Durant.
And Kawhi, I guess Inspector's talking about Kawhi. Kawhi hasn't even played anywhere near the amount of games. I mean, he's been gone for seasons at a time. So, come on. You can't put
Kawhi in terms of what? In terms of what comparison?
Comparison as far as one of the greatest of all time, because he won 2 Finals MVPs.
He's not one of the greatest of all time. He's not one of the greatest of all time. Stop saying that, please. Cedric Maxwell won NBA Finals MVP drill. Do we talk about Cedric Maxwell as one of the greats of all time?
No.
How about Andre Iguodala, Gerald, is Iggy one of the greatest players of all time?
Yeah, that's true. But is he better than Troy, Sports Baby? I'll just leave it at that. But again, it's the Lakers winning 140 to 109. I really want to make sure that you guys know should be happy and celebrating that the Lakers have locked up a position, third place in the Western Conference. Again, from so many of our expectations and analysis, Joe, you had them 11th. I had them 9th. Magic Man, what did you have them?
I've had them 10th.
Yeah, so 9th, 10th, and 11th in the Western Conference based on what we saw heading into the season. We did not think that they were going to go
that discussion ended February 1.
Absolutely. So this season turned out
doesn't matter
so
what we
much
said.
better.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Yeah, so much better. No, that's what I'm saying. It turned out so much better than what we anticipated.
You can't be considered a team's greatest player of all time if you only played 1 year for them. You can't do that.
Jokic has never played with an all-star teammate or an all-defensive teammate. So Jokic getting in that conversation. If he does something this year and takes his team to a title, maybe you can start thinking about him in that conversation. But
well, I mean, quite frankly, you could turn around and say, Nikola Jokic hasn't played with any all-stars. Who the fuck was an all-star with LeBron James in Cleveland? Was it Mo Williams? Oh, the great Mo Williams. We'll never forget that. The multiple all-star appearance, Gerald. Or how about Boogie Gibson?
Mm-hmm.
I'm naming some of the dregs of the NBA here, Gerald. These are some of his guards that he played with. Mo Williams, Delonte West, Boogie Gibson. Give me a break.
Yeah, YYC, no one had the Rockets in second place in the Western Conference.
And quite frankly, you have one of the richest, wealthiest owners in the NBA, far wealthier than Jeannie Buss and the Buss family. And you can surround Nikola Jokic with all, like, you people out there. I've had enough of this stupidity. It makes me sad, Gerald, and then I go cry in a corner because I have to deal with morons on this show. Cry in a corner. It makes me sad.
Joe, I know you're going to go ahead and do your show after this. So what you got on deck for us with the Joe Soro experiment?
We'll talk little Lakers. We'll talk some Dodgers. It's a good way for those who are listening to the show now to tail into going from the Jay Leno Tonight Show to Conan O'Brien's show. That's kind of how I'm looking at this for right now until, it's still kind of right around that 11 o'clock mark, so that'll work. That usually works anyways.
Okay, I'm putting it in right now in the chat.
Put the link in the chat, and then everybody can go and subscribe.
The Joe Soro experiment. I'll go ahead and do let me get it right here for a second. It is the Joe Soro experiment. Right there for you. If you type that in, it does come up. I'll go ahead and I'm going to put in the link as well. So go ahead and make sure you check him out. Coming up here in just a few minutes. But it is a great day for Lakers basketball. Third place sewn up in the Western Conference. Magic Man, before I hit it over to Joe, any last thoughts before we head on
out? So if you told me before the season the Lakers would eventually be a 3 seed, Gerald, with 50 wins, I would say, oh, wow, Anthony Davis and LeBron James really played above expectations, Gerald. Oh, wait, Sean. The Lakers traded Anthony Davis halfway through the year for Luka Doncic. Oh, well, I would say those are 3 pretty good squad goals, Gerald. You get a franchise player, you finish with home court advantage in the first round of the playoffs, and you had 50 wins. That's a really great triple-decker of a Lakers season so far. And we continue on because now it's about winning the first round.
And we'll go from there, and we'll find out on Sunday who that will be. But until then, check us out here tomorrow. Supposedly, the Lakerholics will all get together on Saturday at noon Pacific time. I've already scheduled it. And then, of course, Sunday we'll be back for the Lakers and the Portland Trailblazers, whichever Lakers will end up being able and available on that for that game. We'll go ahead and cover it anyways, of course, on playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break, and of course bringing the post game right here at the Lakers Fast Break. Joe, coming up next on the Joe Sorrell Experiment channel, any last thoughts before we head on out?
Any good thoughts? Do they have to be good thoughts?
Doesn't have to be good thoughts.
Well, I've had some bad thoughts pretty much the whole show, so I should end it on a good note. I'll throw a little bit of a jab here. Some of you need to open up your ears. Seriously. You have too much earwax or shit coming out of there. Pay attention a little bit more when we talk. When we talk about the first round, stop talking about the Celtics, acting like we were talking about them. So I just wanted to throw that out there. The other thing is, why are we not going to hope for the best with this team? They've shown a lot of reasons to do that, despite our irritation with bad decisions on their part. In the end, we just dictate what we see. We just narrate what we see at that moment. Just because I don't like something yesterday doesn't mean I hate it today. It's very important to understand what that is. Just because it's this whole narrative that you have to pick a side and stay there your entire life. Fuck you and fuck that. Seriously, that is what drives shit to the ground. I can revolve between this side and that side whenever the fuck I want. Whenever, and you should be doing that too. Sometimes shit pisses you off. I'm going to use this example again so that you understand. You have family members and you have friends that drive you up the fucking wall, okay? They make movies about this shit, especially when it comes to spouses. So who are these guys who are these guys not to piss us off and then love them again? You do that every day with the people around you. So stop with you're haters of this guy because of X, Y, and Z. No, I hated what he did at that moment. I hated what he did during this week. But guess what? 2 weeks later, I'm going to love what he did that day and that week and maybe that month. That's the whole point here. We're trying to figure it out as it goes. And there's been a lot of unprecedented things happening to this team all year. And a lot of things in the NBA. NBA got exciting a little bit this year. We were down on it at the beginning of the year. No trades, no crazy moves. All of a sudden, here you are. Karl Anthony Towns goes to the Knicks.
Bingo, bango, bongo.
And you're seeing all these teams that were supposed to be really, really good. What's his name? From Milwaukee to
Cleveland won 15 straight games in non-consecutively in the same season. A lot of good stories this year, Joe.
Yeah, and this Luka carried stuff. See, you guys are the ones that perpetuated that. I mean, I'm not going to not blame it on Shaq and Kobe. They actually started it, but you guys all creamed over that news story. You kept reading it, and it kept building, and it kept building, and you destroyed you destroyed a dynasty because of it. Because both Kobe, God rest his soul, and Shaq turned into children in that moment. They didn't fight through it. They weren't mature enough to understand that they had something in their hands that is so rare that it might even be more rare than an Ohtani or a Babe Ruth. You had the modern day Wilt in his prime, and that at that point, it's weird to say modern day Jordan, even though Jordan was still playing, but you had the redux of Jordan on the same team, merging in their primes. And because of their egos, because they listened to the noise, they destroyed an opportunity to see something that I probably would have never seen again. And you all love this drama. You children love this drama. You create these drama things because your life might be boring or that's just what you're used to in your life. It's sad. It's sad that out of all the shit we just talked about, you have a dumbass who writes a quote saying Luka's carrying LeBron. That's all you got out of this? That's all you got? Luka carrying LeBron? This is a team sport, dumb shit. It's a team sport. No one has ever won without help. That includes Jordan, that includes Wilt, Kareem, Magic, Bird, everyone that matters in this game has had help because you have to play 5 guys plus 2, 3, 4 guys off the bench to win. Educate yourself. Think a little bit. Seriously, think a little bit. It helps in other things in your life instead of acting like a complete ass. If you do it on purpose to get a laugh, that's fine. But if you keep doing it, now you're not doing it on just the jeers. You're doing it just for being a dick or being stupid. That's it. That's my final line of the night for the Lakers fast break.
There you go. And again, it is, of course, the Lakers fast break. You know what? I'm just going to put this up here for you, James Hex, and I want you to see how it's spelled. So in the U.S., and the correct English term, in other countries, it might be spelled differently, but in the U.S., it's DFSENSE. I would win the spelling bee, and you would fail and be laughed at while you're going off stage. So you just believe what you want to believe. But again, there's a reason why we call you Incorrect Hex.
Incorrect.
And
Hex.
Yes, who cannot help but put 3 stupid emojis by every single comment he makes, making him even dumber than he already is. But on that note, it is the Lakers, of course, gaining and clinching the 3rd place in the Western Conference. Shout out to all those great people who were part of the chat and were part of our audience that didn't try to give us headaches, because those who did failed miserably and only gave themselves headaches. And when they look in the mirror, they just said, they just spent an hour and 17 minutes with us and got roasted by us. And just have to
Gonna
figure out
come
their
back
place
for
in
more on Sunday too.
Yeah,
What
they're
what
going to
if
come back
we-
for more on
what
Sunday.
if we lose the Blazers? You go, oh, you can't even beat the Blazers. The
Yes,
Lakers
yeah, there
gonna
we go.
lose
We don't
it."
care about the game. There's
don't
nothing important to
care.
the game. Yeah, we don't care. We got 50 wins. We got 3rd place in the Western Conference. We are going to celebrate that. And we're also going to be talking about who the Lakers will officially match up in the Western Conference playoffs first round, then, and how the playoffs might be going from there.
Well,
We'll
the
know all
world
the
is back
seeding.
to normal, Gerald, because now the Laker fans get to sit back, eat popcorn on Sunday, and watch other teams kill each other for that seedings.
Exactly. Oh, Alan, yeah, we know he's just trolling. We eat trolls for lunch. We eat trolls for dinner, and we're one of the few channels that actually challenges the trolls and do it much. We troll them better than they troll us. If you've been on the show and know the show as long as we do, yeah, you know we troll them way better than they troll us. And speaking of guys who troll better than the trolls themselves, go ahead, the trolls, and hop on over to Joe's channel, the Joe Soro Experiment, because he'll be there in a couple minutes. But guys, truly appreciate you being here. Truly appreciate everyone stopping by. Once again, the Lakers win 141-109. We'll be back tomorrow with the Lakerholics. So let's see how you control Jamie and Michael. Yeah, see if you can go ahead and get them all flustered, because he can't do it for us. But we'll be back tomorrow with the Lakerholics and Sunday against the Portland Trailblazers. All that good stuff will be happening. Another great Lakers weekend with the Lakers heading for the playoffs. All is well in Lakerland right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast.
All right, guys, I'm going on the other side. I'll see you there, everyone. Bye.
Go fuck
I'll send you a link,
yourself,
guys.
bro.
I'll send you a link.